Hey guys, it's Christy, and in today's video is a DIY. So we're doing DIY beast ears. I was a little nervous about this because I haven't used like the fur like I bought. I've used fur quite recently, but I haven't used this type of fur. It made me nervous. I was kind of scared of how it's going to turn out, but I actually think it turned out pretty good. So without further ado, here's the DIY. I'll catch you on the other side. So for this DIY, I'm actually going to show you how to draw out the inner ear part. I'm using right here. I'm showing you use the smaller one. You trace it, and I trace 4 of them because you use 2 per each ear. And I'm actually using a grape smelling marker, so I like to sniff it. It smells good, even though you can't see me sniffing it. So here I'm cutting it out, and I just use like this priority box. I do not priority ship unless somebody asks me to, so I tend to use the boxes for to cut out ears and make ears. So right there, I just cut it out, and I cut out 4 of those. And once they're all cut out, I will then trace out the bigger plastic piece of the ear on fabric. So the reason you want the 2 different sizes is because this is the inner ear, like the cardboard piece. It's like the ear, what's inside the ear that you see. And when you cut fabric, you actually want the fabric to be bigger than the ear so that you can put it around each piece of the ear. So once I'm done with cutting out the cardboard pieces, I actually line them up and kind of trim any excess edges, because you don't want any one of the ears bigger than the other, because you're going to put them together to make them one solid ear. So that's why you have 4 pieces, 2 pieces for each ear. And here's where I get the fabric, and I trace the larger ear right there. And if you notice, when I trace, I only trace the round part of the ear, not where it encloses, because I want to cut out a little bit of piece at the bottom and leave a little extra there so that I can actually tuck that in and glue it down. You want to make sure you have plenty of space to glue it down. So now I'm just cutting out the fabric pieces of the ear and like getting a little excess. I try to cut off as much excess as possible. That way I don't have more to cut off when I'm gluing the ears down. But you also don't want to cut off too much, because then the ear won't go around the cardboard as well. So it's kind of like a give and take situation. I would rather have too much than too little though, because then you have to redo the fabric. So here I take the cardboard, I glue about halfway around, I push the fabric down, and then I do the other half. You do want to make sure that you're paying attention to how much fabric is on each side, because if you pull it too tight, you could end up with not enough fabric on the other side. And you see me doing that again. So when I'm gluing these down, I definitely do not glue down where that little curved part is, because that's where I'm going to stuff the ear. That is, if you want your ears stuffed. I stuff both the front and the back. I know some people don't stuff ears at all, and then others only stuff the front and leave the back a solid flat surface, but I stuff front and back. So that is what you will see next. I set the most recent one aside because it's still drying. I take the old one, and then I get some polyfill. I have polyfill right there, and a stick to stuff it. And then I push just a little bit at a time, because if you put too much in at once, it will buckle your cardboard, and they'll be harder to make your ears solid. So if you see here, I'm just stuffing it just a little bit at a time. Sorry, part of it is out of frame. And then I glue it down. You see that right there. I do tend to pay more attention to the ears than to my camera when I am stuffing it. But once I'm done stuffing it, I actually put a little glue down and then push the fabric down to make sure that it sticks. So like I said, I am sitting here and stuffing each ear. There's 2 done so far, and then see if you see I pull the stuffing apart as much as possible, stick it in there and use a stick. I already went over this. And then glue at the bottom the curves and pull it over. I actually pull mine pretty tightly. Some people like to have a little extra there so that it covers the entire ear when you glue it to the ear, but I like mine to be nice and tight so that the fabric itself, where the ear is, doesn't buckle any, because sometimes I see that the fabric's pretty loose and then it starts to kind of look funny on the ear. Me, I pull mine tight, and instead of making sure that the fabric stick, like all the extra fabric is stuck from one side of the ear headband to the other side of the headband, I just put a trim around the base of the ear on the headband. So then once I'm done, I put glue around all the edges and then in the center, and I stick them together, make sure they're lined up good, and I literally stick it under my leg to hold it in place so that it will, form together evenly. So now I went on to the bow, and the bow I just kind of cut out about 6 inches, then I kind of glue each corner down, kind of what you're seeing right now, and then I do it on the other side so that there's no spacing, and then I fold it in half right there, glue that down, and I glue that down, and then I do a not a xylophone, oh my gosh, an accordion fold. Xylophone, wow. I do an accordion fold and put a little bit of glue between each little section on the front of the bow and on the back of the bow, and then I set that aside. So now you see me working on the ears because they're now dry. I'm doing a trim. I measure my trim around the ear where it just tucks up a little bit underneath the curved part of the ear, and it's out of frame, but I glue it on a little bit at a time. I go really slow so that I don't get glue on the outside of the ear, and it's just right there in the crease where I put my trim around. So that piece is done, and I'm doing this one. I'm sorry, it's out of frame again. I have a tendency to not pay attention to where the camera's at and just get done with the ears. I wish I could go as fast as this video is showing you. So now that they're both done, I go to the headband, and I grab another headband that I already have and measure it out to make sure I'm putting the ears in the right spot. So you see that I'm now holding the ear so that it stays in place. I actually put these ears a little bit further, instead of centering it in the center of the headband at that spot, I put it as far back as it'll go because my bow is going to be furry and I want to make sure it has plenty of room. So there, now I'm doing the accordion fold. If you can see, I think I actually decided to refold the ear. Yeah, I'm refolding the fabric. I must have just decided that it didn't look good at the size it was and changed it up a little bit, which you can usually do because hot glue is easy to pull off. So then I'm folding it back over and then folding that one over. Like I said, you do an accordion fold, and then you put a little, I kind of showed you that where it was going to go. You put a little hot glue in there. I don't know why I'm not putting hot glue in there right now. There it goes. So I've got the fur now, and I cut off the fur, and I'm folding those sides in. And this was actually not as hard as I thought. It was still hard, but not quite as hard as I thought it was going to be. So you see me there hot gluing everything down. And now I'm trying to figure out how I want to crunch the bow. Messed with it quite a bit to figure out how I wanted it to go. So you can see me in the corner right there trying to decide. There's that accordion fold again. I'm like, okay, how do I unfold this? I played with it quite a bit. There I am gluing it. I was like, why didn't I get that in camera? There it is. You see, I'm just messing with it before I glue anything down. So now that I've decided how I want it, I take the, like I said, I put stuff around the edge of where the ear base is on the headband, and I wrap it around. So that's what you see me doing right here. And I just use the same fabric. I don't or the same burlap or whatever, twine. I don't always use the same thing at the base, but in this one I did. Right, so from there, it looks like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm making a little piece to go around the bow to make the bow hold together. I just cut out a blue piece and then tied the blue, put some hot glue on it on both sides so that I could wrap it around that actual bow. Here I am messing with that again. Out of frame, of course. I'm always out of frame. Oh my gosh. Alright, yeah, it really did take me, if you can see, it took me forever to figure out how I wanted this bow to go. I was getting so irritated with it. Like I said, it was kind of difficult to use this fur, but not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a really hard time with it, and I finally decided that I would hot glue the bow, the burlap, or the fur, kind of accordion style, and then put the decorative bow on top. Struggling with added some hot glue there. And then I finally wrapped the ribbon around, and then I tried to figure out how I was going to do it on the headband, because it's such a big bow that I was like, I can't just glue it to the bottom. So I ended up gluing the ribbon that I made around the headband so that it would be secure, and it really did turn out very secure, and I really do like it quite a bit, and you'll see that in just a second when I show you the finished product. I'm messing with the bow, making sure it looks good.
Okay guys, that was DIY. I actually do think that these turned out pretty good. I feel like the bow might be a little bit, I could get it a little bit better, but I still feel like they turned out pretty good. So I'm going to show you a close-up of these ears. I really do like them quite a bit. So I was looking for some like gold trim, but I couldn't find any that I liked or that didn't look really cheap. So I just used the burlap. I still think it turned out pretty good and matches with this bow, but it's fur, more and more fur. And it is just on a black headband. I am still struggling with wrapping headbands. I don't know, maybe it's my lack of patience, but I don't know, but they look good on the back as well. So I thought that they turned out pretty well. I'm gonna pop these on. So what do you guys think of the ears? Do you like them? I actually like them quite a bit. Rather impressed with how much I really like them. So I hope you like this DIY. Let me do some housekeeping real quick. I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter, I have a Snapchat, I have a Facebook group called Christy's Corner. I have partner channels, and I'm on a live stream every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I also have a P.O. Box and a PayPal. Most everything you can find in the link or in the description down below. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like my DIYs, please hit that like button and come back again. Bye now.